Are here for another game of the CCS. This is week 8, and we have ourselves one hell of a match tonight. It's Zeal White versus Team Death Realm, and I am joined tonight by the jungler of um I'm
Hard hat
sorry,
zone.
Hard Hat Zone. There we go.
Yeah.
I was about to, I don't know why I was going to say Panda. I was like, don't let me disrespect him like that. It's Hard Hat Zone. You know, nice little alliteration there. And we got Hard Hat Zone's very own Llama here with me tonight as the color caster. Llama, how you doing? Actually, we are hot into draft, so we will
Right.
find out how you're doing
Yeah.
later. And,
Well, I mean, I'll see
we're
what I'm
gonna
doing
get
after these two drafts go through. We'll see how
yeah,
see the kind of mood I'm in going in game one. But already seen some bands going down.
yeah, and we have the Zillion band and the Samira band coming out already, and wondering what Zeal White will ban next here. And I do believe, yes, we are on patch 12.6. So while we're
Mhm.
just, looking at bans and whatnot, Llama, do you have any inclination of what's strong now on this patch or what's kind of fallen in priority and
Well, I
what
mean,
these teams might look out for?
yeah, I'm definitely interested because I think based on the pools from what these guys have been playing, there's not a whole lot that's been shaken up there. I mean, Hecarim, I think, is most notably the champion that's really dropped off. It's toward the bottom now with its win rate in solo queue,
Yeah.
like dropping like 6-7%. So I'm expecting that to really go down. I'd be surprised if we see Rengar picked up, but I think that's a champ that's really got buffed up on the other
Mhm.
end of it for 12-6. But I mean, I feel like we're still seeing a lot of similar bans. Jinx is a high priority. Samir is actually a takeaway from Zeal. TDR has never played that champ, but
Mhm.
Zillion actually has some crossplay between these two pools, but it looks like it's more targeted than it is, strong meta. Maybe a Kaisa ban goes through, but
Mhm.
I'm not seeing too much in terms of banning meta as much as it is kind of banning away this, but I don't think we're going to see a Hecarim 1 blue pick like we did on 12.5.
Okay,
Oh, and
okay, for
Zeri, in
sure.
fact.
And yeah, Zeri to round out the bans for TDR and Jinx to round out the bans for Zeal. So, I mean, I'm obviously, I feel like we've heard this for the past 2, 3 weeks now that Jinx has been nerfed, but
Yeah.
where? Because
You
it doesn't
know,
look like it, and now we have I would say the two highest priority ADCs off the
ooh,
table.
yeah, and I
So
was wondering if they were going to try to first round something like a Phelios, but it does not look like they're going that way, and instead
I
picking up
feel,
Nautilus, which, man,
yeah.
now it's saying, hey, pick an immobile ADC into this,
I,
like you're going to get the lockdown right away.
I feel like amateur teams are scared of Ophelia, so I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
no,
don't
I don't
see
think
I
that.
don't
Yeah,
see it picked a
ooh,
lot. I don't see it picked a lot in amateur,
yeah.
and I don't know
Kaisa might even
why.
be a denial because Kaisa Nautilus has so much synergy. It looks like they are going to go for that, and it
Kaisa
does open up
Braum.
still as a flex. Braum picked up as a support match.
Yeah, I mean Kaisa. Yeah, Kaisa. You know it. You're right. That Kaisa could be flex mid.
Mhm.
You know
It
they
does
would
look
have
like
Matt
Matt's
on it,
been
and
playing
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised if Matt played it, but I'm not. I'm not.
He
Ooh,
doesn't have any
Ash.
plays, at least in competitive, on it
Uh
yet.
huh.
However, we do see a couple Kaisa games for Rush or ADC there. Um,
Is
and
he gonna lock
I
it
do
in?
expect him to match. Looks like high utility again. And now the Vex is interesting. It's a blind pick. Um, can do well with dashes. Both, Braum and Kaisa with Kaisa's ult, they both have ways for Vex to get that extra stacks for her fear. And they are going to lock it in for a blind pick mid. And maybe it's also saying, hey, I dare you to flex that. Maybe it's going to try to show TDR's hand and force them to show a mid laner here on R3. But, you know,
And honestly, Zeal's their composition right now is really good synergy. You have the Nautilus ult, the Ash Arrow. The Ash Arrow is
mhm.
gonna set up the Vex with the Shadow Surge there, so
I'm
that'll
going to go with a
enable
prediction.
her to get in
I want to
really.
see Sejuani right now, locked in, Trundle banned for TDR. Oh, they do. Oh, okay. Sorry to cut you off there, but
Wait.
surprised to see
What?
that.
Okay, so Kai'Sa can go mid or bot. Lucian can go mid, bot, or top.
I think you got to synergize the Braum and Lucian together here. I feel like that is just kind of locked in their bot lane because otherwise, you're going to pick another bot laner here, another mid. I mean, maybe you send Lucian top here, but looking at some of Zeal White's champions on his end, it looks like a lot of, some tanky. They did already ban the Malphite, but he can play Darius, Ornn, Scion, like stuff
You're
that
talking about
just
dark hair, right?
yep, for dark hair there for Zeal White, and I'm not sure if Dark's actually gonna, I'm seeing other bands going into top lane, so maybe it's saying they want the Lucian top, but
That is
is
four
Gen
bands
Hand away?
top. Oh my goodness. So Nemesis and Dark definitely points of contention here for both squads.
Yeah, that was 4 top lane bans second half rotation. They're saying trying to go deeper into the pools, but this definitely looks prep for them. And now what does TDR show here? I think they have to blind pick a jungle, but neither team wanted to show jungle first rotation. And Trundle's an overlap, but I don't think they wanted to show that without getting it as a counter pick.
But yeah, Trundle being hovered and locked in, so
Death Realm does just blind it. So what's the answer now for Zeal?
I mean, Xin Zhao's still open.
I was going to say Zin's.
He hasn't. Lilia?
Lilia's been picking up priority. Lilia Vex. We'll talk about that combo if it gets locked in, but
I don't know if I really like
range.
I don't know if I like the Lilia pick here though, Llama.
You are not liking it. Ooh, it is locked in.
No, I'm not like I personally don't like it because I feel like it's such a I feel like it's a dangerous pick for their composition already. I mean, you have a Lilia now. I mean, don't get me wrong, she has the movement and everything, right? But you have okay, I was about. Hold on, they're like messing with us.
What are they thinking top? I feel like you kind of got to lock in some other front line, and I'm not
exactly.
To see Sion.
No,
Garen is not getting locked.
No, please, no.
Okay. That's looking for the disengage for the Braum and Trundle. I'm thinking.
But no, I was saying this Lilia pick is going to be really squishy into the side of TDR. I mean, you have the Lucian, you have the Kai'Sa, the Trundle, so she's going to have to really be careful. And Squinkle's going to have to pilot this jungle, like, really, unless it's set jungle and Lilia top, but, I mean...
I would say low possibility for that, but it's possible, I think Lilia's a fine matchup. Oh, and Kindred locked in 5th.
Wait,
this is going to triple marksman Trundle flex top? Wait a minute.
Okay.
Game 1 already given us a spicy matchup here. So I'm thinking this is Trundle jungle, Trundle top, Kindred jungle, Kai'Sa's mid, and Lucian Braum.
Okay. That is interesting. And I wonder if TDR has practiced that.
I feel like it's got to be something they prepped, but they held a lot of flexes through this draft, and even that Trundle until R5, but... so the Lilia was a response to the Trundle, and I think Lilia does okay, for the counterpoint that you're saying, a lot of short range. If Kai'Sa's not using W, Lucian, Trundle and Braum, when they pick the Lilia, like, you got double melee and a short range ADC. So I was kind of thinking that might be okay. Plus, the Lilia Vex synergy is actually really, really interesting. Because if Lilia can land a swirl seed, like max range bowling ball, like all the way down the lane, Vex has so much backline priority access off that sleep that Vex can almost always land her follow-up ult to get onto the backline with a fear, and very quickly you have backline access onto this Kai'Sa and can match that poke backline pretty well, on top of something like an enchanted crystal arrow from Ashe, and you don't even need Nautilus. Nautilus isn't even engaged in this fight yet. Like, they can pick people off pretty hard, but that Kindred R5, I feel like, is the biggest point of this draft. It felt like it threw everything for a loop.
Yeah, absolutely it did. And I just want to say, once again, in addition to what you already said for Zeal White, I always like to talk about this on my streams, are the team's composition of the ease of execution. So Zeal White's composition, to me, screams like, it's actually a pretty easy composition to execute, right? You have the Ashe ult, which can start things, or you either have the Ashe or the Nautilus. Honestly, you have 4 ultimates, actually all 5. You have all 5 of their ultimates can start the team fight.
They say we're going on,
depending on who goes first, right? So like, their composition is very easy to execute, but they will have to ensure they play it right and well. Now on the other side, TDR, their composition, to me, I feel like it's a 1-3-1. Am I getting the right vibes from that? I mean,
when I'm seeing TDR,
there's a scream team fight to me.
Yeah, I think the team fight is harder to execute. I think it's single target lockdown, and it's almost exclusively reliant on the Braum CC and auto attacks. Because Braum needs to be landing his Q or his auto attack for both Lucian, Kindred, and even Kai'Sa to be getting auto attacks on that single target. Like, they need to lock down someone immediately, use a Trundle pillar to follow. You might be able to play a 1-3-1 if you can get Trundle in that side lane with a hole breaker. They didn't nerf it for the melee champion, so I'm kind of expecting Trundle to play for a split push, which forces who from Zeal to match, Who's going to be...
Set.
Yeah,
I'm second match
so
that. I mean,
that
I
one
know
for one.
Trundle beats into tanks, but second, at least manage it.
He can pull the waves for sure. And so now what team does worse without their top laner? I feel like now you got Braum standing in front of three squishy marksmen. And as you're
Oh
saying,
yeah.
there are go buttons for Zeal on every single one of these champions on the ultimate.
Yep.
Like anyone can decide to pull the trigger here, whether it's Vex landing a long range ultimate there, a dredge line from Nautilus, an enchanted crystal arrow, even a swirl seed with a sleep.
Yep.
Like they can
Yep.
say, we are fighting now. And with
And
three
you have to
squishy
fight
marksmen,
us.
yeah, you have to fight us. What are you gonna do? Is for Kai'Sa, Lucian, and Kindred, you can press R on Kindred, but like you're just delaying the inevitable. That's not good here. So
Exactly.
I want to see if Braum needs to be the playmaker. I am looking at Mr. Potate in these games to say, can he land Qs? Can he get stuns? Can they lock out these squishy targets? Because beyond Set and Nautilus, the other three are going to go down quick.
I have a quick question for you too. With Braum's passive there, stacking the concussive blows, does Kai'Sa W proc that?
It does not. Well, it gives Kai'Sa a proc, I believe.
I know
it
gives Kai'Sa a proc, but I was like,
but
if
it
Braum gets
give
his,
a Braum
it doesn't give a
proc.
Okay, it has to be like an auto, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, I couldn't remember for sure. It was autos. Yeah, okay.
But
so never mind. Because the way I was thinking was like, I do expect Matt to go this. I do expect him to go the poke Kai'Sa, right? Like just spamming the W's as much as possible because you do not want this team to engage onto you healthy. Like you want to try and soft neutral objectives are going to be a terror for TDR. Like it's gonna be scary. They're gonna have to either make sure they poke Zeal White down first, or get a pick before these neutrals, or they have to get in Blitzkrieg the neutral objective and then get the hell out immediately.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle has a little bit of space to buy with his pillar, but beyond that, their zone control is very minimal. They don't have ways to hold space in these fights. As you're saying, like TDR's got to be all in or all out. Like Death Realm cannot be sitting around trying to posture inside a pit. They can maybe play for poke and play for a later engage, but they have to bait out 3 ults from Zeal. You have to be able to pull the enchanted crystal arrow before a fight, or get the Nautilus ult onto a not that depth charge, not onto a priority target. But there's so many priority targets, you can knock out any of these champions, and I just think that's going to be really challenging for them unless they get a substantial advantage where Zeal White says we can't fight here.
And speaking of challenges, I just want to go ahead and once again plug our sponsor, ProComps, who is the first of its kind drafting tool aimed for competitive and solo queue play. ProComps allows the user live feedback and analysis on drafting, giving them recommendations on picks, notes on matchups, and analysis on the enemy team's win conditions. These features allow the user to gain an edge on their opponent and improve their drafting skills. You can use this code CCS25 for 25% off your first 6 months. Once again, that's CCS25 for 25% off your first 6 months. You don't want to miss out. And with that being said, folks, Llama, before we go into a break here, I'm going to ask you for predictions for the series, not the game. So who do you think is going to win?
I have
just
to
give me a number.
I'm going to say Death Realm, and I'm going to give them a 2-1 here.
Okay. Well, I also thought Team Death Row was gonna win going in, but I think also 2-1 as well, just because I really like Zeal's matchup and it's terrifying to me, and who knows what's gonna happen. But we will find out here shortly as we take a short break. So we'll be right back, and don't go anywhere, folks. Welcome back, everyone, as we are here into Game 1 of TDR versus Zeal White, and it looks like we have our standard 5-point lineup. So far, so good. So, Llama, what I like to do is definitely look at runes and summoner spells before we get into all the shenanigans. So, anything interesting or looking weird to you out of pocket? We see a teleport on Matt there.
Yeah, I think we see teleports matched here across the board. The only actual parity in the summoner spells in this entire game is Rusher for Yahavi, and we're seeing that that's the heal for Ashe there versus cleanse. So that's kind of, we're talking about some of the single target lockdown and everyone having an ult, and that ult's got CC on it. So Lucian's saying he's really got to try to play for the cleanse and try to not die instantly. But beyond that, nothing too surprising about summoner spells. I'm kind of surprised to see 4 teleports, but at this level of play, that's pretty common. And runes across the board, we do see Glacial Augment is one kind of oddity for Nautilus. You see that or the Aftershock, and I think he's just saying we want to get onto somebody, we don't want them to do damage, and he's valuing that over the extra survivability after he gets the lockdown. So that's kind of interesting to see as well.
Interesting indeed, as both junglers are starting on their blue side. So I think we won't see any shenanigans for the Scuttle though. And so that's good, safe jungle for both junglers because they're both pretty weak early game, I would say.
They are, and I think it also means it comes down to the coin flip. We'll see at 3:15 what's going to happen, but if the coin lands on heads and we see Kindred getting that first mark top side, that's going to be uncontestable from Lilia here. But if it's the bot side, we'll have to see if Lilia can clear that out early or if Kindred's going to make a play for it. That 3:15 Scuttle spawn for Kindred's first mark is really something to be taking a look at here at the beginning for these jungles, because they're saying, we're going to play opposite quadrant. I don't want to be next to you to start this game. So, I'll like to see how that starts.
Ooh. Yeah, absolutely indeed. I mean, and like you said, Lilia has a pretty fast clear, as we know. So, hold that thought, just seeing some skirmish, a little training topside,
Yeah.
Brawl back and forth, but nothing substantial so far. Kindred's already taking her red and is pathing towards that Scuttle now. Lilia finishing up hers, as we see the bot laners here just proxying for the minions here, or getting priority, but look at thought though, it's Kindred using the auto there, gets the E onto Vex here. One more proc. Oh wow, Wolf does chunk out a bit of health from Vex, but doesn't get the kill, and she's gonna walk away.
And now this is the bot side Scuttle spawn, but Kindred, because of that gank through mid, is able to move for this bot crab, which is going to be her first mark, and Lilia opting for the full clear actually does not even get there in time.
Yeah, and Trundle's gonna take the top Scuttle too, so Zeal White right now are getting double Scuttle, so. And now we have ourselves a little fight here, a little tussle in the bot lane as Ashe is getting the slow onto Mr. Protect. Flash forward from Zylandis, and First Blood will go over to Zeal White. Rusher and Vayne are trying to trade back here, but Rusher flashing out, Yahavi also flashing out as well. Squinko trying to clean up this Kindred here. The flash, Swirl Seed misses. Flash forward from Squinko, tower shot, and he is claimed as well. So 2 for 2 actually for both squads. But that fight looked like it was definitely in Zeal White's favor initially, as Nemesis and Dark both fighting as well. Flash from Nemesis, flash chomp. Nemesis securing the kill. My goodness.
Wow,
yeah. Go ahead, Llama. Go ahead.
There. Oh my gosh! All of a sudden, top lane, bot lane, everyone's fighting. Flash is going everywhere. But what I noticed after all of that, after all the dust, is Braum died with both summoners up. Like that could have easily turned that fight.
They have though. I mean, he got hooked by the Nautilus, and we now know once Nautilus hooks you, you're like held in place for at least a good 3 seconds. It feels like.
Yeah, he had to flash that I think even first, but it looked like it would have been even before that. But that's crazy to see.
Crazy indeed, as now both teams on the board, and TDR having about almost a 1k gold lead though. So I would say, you know, the gold is definitely in their favor right now. That thought. Oh, okay. My spectator was
You
having
know,
an issue at first where I
I
couldn't see
wasn't
the
able to
gold or
see,
anything or the
yeah, I couldn't see
KDA.
anything else either there, or
Yeah,
even CS.
you have to refresh it real quick, so then it'll work for you.
How do you refresh it here? Because I,
Hit the X button or the or try O. Yeah.
oh,
Sorry about that,
might
chat.
have accidentally, I got a spectate to try to respectate, and now it won't let me back in. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, I gotta pull it up here.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties, so while we're figuring that out, though, Dark is having some difficulties as well as he's trying to escape, but will not be able to do so as In Vain claims his life, and I wonder how many marks the Kindred has now. 3 marks on this Kindred here, so that is fast, and that is actually scary. Bot side as well as Jahabi. Flash from Mr. Potate here as Squinkle is here to back up his bot laner. Swirlseed goes wide, but Rusher will be claimed, and Zeal White are not letting up on the aggression here. Well done from their squad so far.
Didn't do anything there. And that was a great counterplay there by Lilia. After seeing that In Vain went topside for that play, this bot side fight looks spooky, but great on Lilia to be able to match this. They knew they saw Kindred topside, and then really well played here. Was able to get back in, look for an extra play. The extra watch out eep there from Lilia was able to pick up an extra kill, and then so close from the Vex ultimate there. Thought it might have been an option, but during that whole play, Zeal White was able to pick up a dragon on the backside, so even though it was a very proactive from Kindred, they lost a lot on the other side of the map during that during the top side play down bottom.
They did for sure indeed, but I do want to highlight what you have mentioned. This mid lane matchup has been pretty quiet though. Oh my goodness, look at the CS lead as well for Matt into the Vex here against Win, so definitely taking advantage of that. I mean, they are both ranged champions, but it's actually quite surprising how much Matt has a lead onto Win here piloting this Vex. But the Swirl Seed does hit Matt as the Lilting Lullaby is proc. Matt will have to flash, but his life is claimed as Zeal White get another one on the board here. And we are not done as In Vain and Dark, or I'm sorry, In Vain and Nemesis now take down Dark and they send him into the light.
Wow, and what a great cross-map play once again. It feels like one jungler is making one play in one lane, the other jungler is making another play in the other lane. Really incredible to see this collapse here. And they had 3 people ready to go for this play, but once that Lilting Lullaby goes down, there's nothing to be done. Thought that maybe flashing the tower could have been enough, but it sure wasn't. And this was that topside play you were talking about, just Trundle Pillar gave so much access,
Yep.
That showstopper, haymaker, face breaker just doesn't do anything there.
So showstopper, haymaker, face breaker, doesn't matter. Kindred in 3. With the mounting dread proc there. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. Honestly, Llama, I was not expecting this much action in the early game I would say from Zeal White, because I feel like their comp wants to scale a bit more. I could see more early game action coming out from TDR because of their champions, the Lucian, Kai'Sa, Trundle, even Kindred. But I wasn't expecting this much action from Zeal White here in the early game. But the action, that is correct, is Jahabi will have to flash, but the concussive blows are proc, and he's blown up. And now, TDR looking to claim another one, but the Lilia is here again, and the flash sweep from Squinkle there to clean up the bot lane of TDR, giving her a double kill. Well done from this Zeal White jungler here. Oh my goodness, 6-1-0. On Lilia already, 8 stacks on the Dark Seal, and she has early Andrews at 9 minutes in the game. 9.5 minutes.
This looked really spooky from Zeal White. They engaged way too early, but it did force Team Deathrealm to overcommit instead, and that gave Lilia this access to pick up both kills. You're saying both these junglers are hyper accelerated now. Kindred looked like she was doing really well.
But one is more hyper accelerated than the other, Llama, as we are not done. Okay, yeah, we are.
Okay, was able to disengage it, but this is a terrible lane state for Dark up top now, and now he has to call for Lilia to come up there. But you just said that this Lilia with Leandri.
Nemesis using the frozen domain there.
Nothing else used, but at least
Icebreaker does go wide. Yep.
That at least gives him his lane out of there. Really good call by Dark. I presume he called for that there to break that freeze. Otherwise, Trundle can take away with that. But meanwhile, with that being shown, InVein knows that he's safe to play for this. And now you see bot lane from Team Death Realm.
Oh no! Oh my god! The Shadow Surge comes out and Win gets met. Wow, this is amazing.
Oh
I'm loving this game.
3v2 on the bot side. Are they able to force? But he's coming down.
3v2 definitely indeed as the arrow comes out to stop the Kindred from progressing any forward. Xylandis using the hook there to get himself a better position, but it looks like TDR are gonna back off, but they do get themselves a summoner spell as Nemesis doesn't care what this set does now. He's just like, bro, you don't hurt me.
We're seeing a 4-plate advantage now on the top lane. And that's like starting to balloon this lead. We see a 6-1 Lilia, but the gold lead is still in Team Death Realm's favor.
You know, Llama, I have to ask you right now, I know for our viewers it might look like Zeowhite is killing the game, but I mean, for TDR, what was their weak side is now actually their strong side in Nemesis.
Nemesis is up. Oh my, you said it.
Yeah, dude, look at this Trundle. He just stood in front of him and took a full haymaker to the face. He didn't even flinch in front of that haymaker. Did you see that?
Oh, he just kept running and then flashed forward onto Dark, and it did not.
Trundle doesn't have his mythic yet, and he just stood in front of him.
Wow.
That was
oh
nuts.
My goodness, but now this is their strongest member. He's cut out.
He was cut out as Squinkle's life is now claimed InVein, using the ultimate there to keep him alive, keep him and his team alive, and now they will secure the Mountain Drake. Well done from the side of TDR, and yeah, they're playing this really well.
I mean, great to see that Death Realm comp. We were talking about that with Rom needing to be the factor to get those teams over lockdowns, and without the team being there and Squinko needing to play frontline, it ended up resulting in just he went in there and got focused down before the team could match.
Definitely indeed before the team could match. And honestly, if I was Squinko, I would rush Zanya's. At this point, I mean, you're practically the carry of your team. You need to survive.
Absolutely, and he, that's a pretty costly mistake before the dragon that's causing that to be an issue.
Yep, absolutely indeed. And it's gonna be an Infernal Soul. Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh man.
With one drag apiece too, we'll see how that comes up here in the next 4 minutes because Kai'Sa needs a while to keep scaling here. She's really not a champion. You even see that with her Cole buy that she's really not playing to be a champion until later into this game. So when this next Infernal comes, that's going to be a big swinging point.
Definitely another swinging point indeed, but I just want to highlight right now the gold has ballooned for the side of Team Death Realm here. As we see in the top lane, it's basic. Yeah, he's about doubled his CS already. That's a 3,000 gold lead for the Trundle here. It does look like we will have ourselves a little fight, but when chunking down the Kai'Sa here as we have your fight on two fronts. Mr. Potate being chunked out by Squinkle. His life is claimed. Who's next on the board as Squinkle is summed up by InVein. And now we see Rusher and Xylandis and Win here trying to claim something back on the side of TDR. And Xylandis will be able to, as he gives that over to Yahabi, and Zeowhite actually win the fight. What a banger.
Goodness, after all of that, that was absolutely crazy. It looked like InVein was just popping off this entire fight, and I don't think Zeowhite wants to fight her on top side with Trundle being that strong, but with Trundle showing bot side, there's no threat. He starts like he's not even gonna teleport into this fight.
Trundle doesn't even have a Hullbreaker yet though. Okay, I just want to point that out as well.
Man, but when you got a Trundle that accelerated into that game, I feel like Trundle can just TP and really swing that fight in the favor of Team Death Realm, but ultimately it ended up not being in their favor for that fight, and all of a sudden that gold that you're talking about has been sticking around though. It's still 4,000. The Rift Herald was claimed by Kindred, but after 14 minutes with plates falling, it's going to be a little bit less value and not getting the same influx of gold, but we're seeing towers still up on the map in mid lanes for the side of Zeowhite, so I'm going to be expecting Team Death Realm to try to push to drop the Herald around that space.
Yeah, definitely indeed. Ooh. Oh my goodness, as the arrow hits Matt here, and he's just gonna be obliterated. Wait, Matt Squinkle? Okay, thank God. But Invane rushes in and tries to save him with the Lamb's Respite, and he misses as Mr. Protect uses the ultimate there, and now the Kindred's life is claimed in return, as Yahavi and Squinkle will be able to just gain control over this mid lane here, as Nemesis and Mr. Protect I'm sorry, not Mr. Protect, win there, say hi to each other in the river.
Yeah, I was wondering if either team was going to look for a play there, but it looked like they did just decide to step away, and yep, a little handshake, a little high five in between, and say, all right, we're not going to this play, and walk away.
Yeah, definitely walk away indeed. And before that fight started, I wanted to talk about the gold once again, Glama, because you did point out that Zero White, their gold deficit is about 5K right now. I wanted to point out that about, let me see, 4K of that gold is on the Trundle alone, by the way. Oh yeah, actually, Trundle has 4K of the gold lead for TDR right now, and I would say the other 1,000 is like scattered throughout the rest of them. So.
That's those 5 solo plates top. He got there early, and the CS difference, man. We're looking at that right now. 73 farm differential at 16 minutes. He is destroying the set in this matchup. More than twice his amount of gold, and it is insane. And the gold's gonna
the Shadow Surge comes in from Win, and he just blows up Rusher and Invane as well, and Drake is spawning in 30 seconds here, so it is not a complete punishment for TDR, but they will have to be a bit more mindful, and that ultimate from the Vex there will be down for this Drake fight, but I don't know if TDR will contest it, and I don't think they even care right now, as Nemesis is just going crazy in the side lane. Dark can't even contest him. Dark can't do anything.
No, he's gonna try, but Nemesis
another full face breaker as Nemesis just runs down the set here, and Mr. Potate using the ultimate there, but this is a fight on 2 fronts, but
who's matching?
TDR is winning, right? TDR is winning, right?
It's hard to tell. Someone's got a match for Nemesis now, but Iwin doesn't want to be the guy. Trundle's going to take the inhib tower at 17.5 minutes, and he's already onto the inhib.
You know what? This game is solo queue to me right now. I feel it. This is a solo queue game to me, because you have your split pushing AFK top laner who's just like, me top, me split. Don't bother me. No one come up here. You guys just do objectives and stay away.
And you've seen him absolutely take over that matchup, and I hear that solo queue as well, because he has needed 0 help. I have not seen, there was a little bit of help from Kindred early, but once that matchup got rolling, he has been by himself. He is far away. He is hunting alone. This is the champion that he wants to get everything on the opposite side from his team now, and absolutely rolling over. But I want to point out with the macro there, it was really smart for him to not take the inhibitor yet. The Baron has not spawned topside, and that's just going to give the opportunity to Zeal White to soak these waves as they come in if they were super minions. So really heads up play for him to say, I'm not going to take inhibitor, even though I might be able to grab it here, and then instead pull his pressure to the bot side so we can start working on the bot side inner as well. And no one from Zeal White can match that.
I have a question for you, Llama, because I don't know if I've seen it, and I was just thinking about like all the ultimates that have been used. Have we seen Rusher ult once yet?
I have not seen the Colin come out from him at all this entire game, I'll be honest. I've seen a lot of these other ults. I mean, the ultimates that have been making an impact are all coming from Zeal White.
Yeah, ooh. His win, using the fear there, trying to save his tower. Trundle does not care. This is the most Chad Yorick Trundle cosplaying as a Yorick I've ever seen. This is nuts. Like, this is this is disgusting.
So now we see that Zeal White has to over-index into the bot side. Meanwhile, it gives so much prio to Team Death Realm. That was super close to be able to take over all of topside. Like, look at the topside vision right now. It is completely controlled by Team Death Realm. There is absolutely no pressure up there. So what Zeal White's forced to do is over-index into bot side, try to catch waves, and then look for this kind of long-range engages. But there's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow going down for nothing, and TDR has full control over the top side of the jungle right before this Baron spawn, and I want to see if they can convert this into an early Baron for Team Death Realm, because there is no way that they can match the Trundle split right now, and once they show more than 2 people bot, I'm expecting to see Team Death Realm pull the trigger to this Baron.
Yeah, definitely pull the trigger towards the Baron indeed, as TDR are encroaching onto Zeo White's red jungle.
Oh.
But Sprinkle using the Lifted Lullaby and will be able to try and secure the kill onto Matt here, but in vain, using the last respite to keep himself alive a bit longer, as Nemesis is now here to back up his jungler. The Ashe will have to flash out as we have a fight on 2 separate fronts, as the Trundle is finally shut down, and now we see Zeo White making a comeback as TDR have now overstepped, and it looks like they're going to be wiped off the face of the Rift. Mr. Potato survives to delay the ace, or not delay the ace, but ensure there is no ace, and Zeo White taking advantage of mispositioning from TDR, and that was very well played from them, and quite a costly mistake for TDR as Zeo White looks to secure this Baron.
And they're going to get right into the Baron, and this is completely opposite from what I just said in terms of TDR controlled the top side of the jungle. They had the entire team forced out of it, and then immediately Kindred and Kaisa just started walking into the bot side jungle. They had no reason to be there. Granted, it was an awesome engage there from Squinko to get the double Lilting Lullaby, but I think TDR really misplayed that fight by trying to index into a quadrant of the map where they had no pressure being.
What's happening here as Islandis, Zeo White, you overstayed a little bit as Nemesis is just gonna whack you to death with his pillar there, but in vain gets the kill, and now TDR are going to try to secure this Baron here, and Zeo White, they're not even in position to contest, and this is gonna go down. You have 3 ADCs and a Trundle.
Oh man, that is getting burned to a crisp right there. That is just Baron secured. Are they gonna look for something else? It doesn't
As
look like
right
it.
now, it does not look like it.
And you were just saying about that triple AD comp there, and that's what you see, the power of that when it comes to these objectives. Even though they might not be able to hold the space, they were able to get a pick ahead of time. And the reason why Zeo White lost that is because they had a huge play bot side and then didn't reset. They had all those golden pluses.
Oh my goodness, as Nemesis and Matt once full face breaker to the face, Nemesis gives no damn in hell, but he's actually taken out as he got too big for his britches. There's the culling for the first time we've seen on the Rift as the Swirl Seed goes wide, but this Kaisa poke. You remember what I said in draft about that Kaisa poke, that she wants to poke them out before these neutrals? So Matt, even though he hasn't been as efficient or as impactful on the map, he's doing really good with this poke here, as we see Dark getting the flash face breaker onto TDR there, and now Mr. Potato will be claimed as well, but this Kaisa poke is just disgusting, and I expect to see Matt look for an ultimate here as Rusher gets the kill onto Xylandis, but Zeo White, they're just so low, and Matt honestly could poke them out. Matt should totally chase it with Rusher following him behind. Yeah, just keep throwing those W's, keep throwing them. Yeah, he's an ultimate in, but the face breaker comes out to give the set a bit more shielding. Squinkle gets the double kill onto the 2 marksmen of TDR, and this game is now somewhat swinging in the favor of Zeo White here. The gold lead still in favor of TDR, about 3k though.
And this was a fight that I was really expecting, as you were saying, that Matt could have just taken over with these W's. Like, he was landing one after another, and look at all this damage, but, with Lucian still so far behind, there's not any follow-up damage. The Lilting Lullaby was still available for Lilia there at the end of all of that, and it felt like Team Deathrealm was just trying to make something happen, and even though they were all low health bars, it's ultimately is still a 2v4, and those are not advantageous fights.
I honestly, something from TDR I've noticed is it's that I'm so ahead syndrome. Matt is so, or not Matt, Nemesis is so ahead that he thinks he can 1v5, which he probably can, but he's engaging a bit too early, and his team isn't there to back him up yet. So if he just waits a little bit longer, I think TDR can still win these team fights, but Nemesis has to make sure that he's on time and not too early.
And that's getting ahead
he's getting picked out. Yeah,
he does, and the getting ahead syndrome is applying to the rest of Team Deathrealm. I think the whole entire team is playing like they're all Nemesis right now. Like, everyone is playing like they have this giant gold lead, but we saw at 15 minutes there was a 3,000 gold lead, and this point at 25 minutes that lead has not really changed. Like, it is held steady, and I think that, Nemesis is playing like he's Giga Chad, and he is in the split lane, but now Zeal White
Correct.
slowly picking up.
Oh, as the arrow hits the Lucian, and you cleansed too late. What was the point of that? Your summoner is lost now, as Mr. Potato will be claimed as well. And Matt is trying to hold the line here using this Kaisa poke, but Zeal White does not give a damn, and they will secure the tier 1 turret as they look now to also secure this tier 2. In vain will not have it though, as he uses the Mount Dread to wipe out the Lilia and get himself a double kill there. Oh no, that kill went over to Matt instead, but now here's Giga Chad Oh my god, Giga Chad Nemesis does not care. Nemesis gives no dams as he just stands in front of your face, takes your true damage face breaker, and just walks all over you. Set what?
And I gotta give credit to the rest of Team Deathstone there, because they did a really great job after.
Wait, he's not gonna win this 1v1, right?
Oh. No way.
What the? I want to curse so bad, but I'm not going to. But I think you all know what I was gonna say.
At this point in the game, I think Team Deathstone did a great job to stop that advance from Zeal White in the mid lane after they lost the fight. TDR Matt played that really well with his 2 items to recover some of that play. And now, with 1 minute and 40 until the Dragon, this is Zeal White's soul. We've been talking about Team Deathstone this entire game, but in 90 seconds, Zeal White can play for this major objective, give them the Infernal Soul, which 3 of them stacked is going to be so much damage, and they'll have all of their ultimates back up. So, Zeal White is still very much in this, with the exception that, Nemesis might play the base for it.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, hold on. They really want Nemesis dead. They get the arrow, they get the Lilting Lullaby, smash, dash, pass, Nemesis is in the grass. And that's actually a really good pick, but I feel like it's also a bit too early. Dragon isn't up for another minute.
Too early or too late, because let's look at those ultimate cooldowns from Vex and from Lilia and Ash. 3 ultimates were expelled there, and they need to have those to fight this dragon. We talked about in that draft, they need ultimates to win team fights, and now with 3 of them down, this might be the angle for Team Deathstone to try to
Ash arrow might be up by the time the Drake spawns, and depending on how long they stall at the pit, I think all 3 of their ults might be up, but you have this Kaisa who is now poking you to death, so I don't know if they want to wait. If I was Zeal White, I don't even know if you contest this Drake. It's yes, you give up soul for another 5 minutes, but you keep your life and you get a crap ton more gold because you got these supers coming into your base. So I think giving this Drake is the right play, right?
I'm with you. I just think it's so impressive that Matt single-handedly zoned off the entire Zeal White team with those Ws. I think Xylandis took 3 to the face, and then the fight is just over. And, I think they decided that was the right play as well there, so it does feel like, Redacted, I think they took your advice and said, let's give this Dragon, let's delay this soul for 5 minutes. We're still in this, but, we're seeing that the ults are back now, but, that too early or too late play onto the Trundle, at least off the split push, but at the cost of the Dragon. So now we see TDR moving up to Baron. Dark needs to get this bot wave pushed out as far as possible before Trundle can just overtake the
but Trundle's already here, and once again we have a war on 2 fronts as the Enchanted Crystal goes. It doesn't go wide actually, it hits the Kaisa. Nemesis goes in, but he's just blown up as Rusher and the rest of TDR just dominate Zeal White, and you know what? That's probably going to be the game, folks, as Nemesis takes out on Dark, and he's already in the base. His teammates are coming to back him up. Wait, he has no minions here, but I don't think Trundle cares, really.
Here's the wave. That's going to be it. Death timers are too long.
Yeah, and this game 1 going to TDR here, so well done from the side of TDR as they take game 1.
Wow. What an incredible performance from Nemesis there. And, it looked like a one-man show for killing the base, but the team did everything else right as well. It felt like this was a team that really did a great job supporting the rest of the side, didn't die to some of these long-range engages. It looked spooky. They said, we got to pull the trigger there that last fight, with the Ash ult, with the Vex ult, but TDR did a great job on the other side of the map, doing okay and not actually fall into that. So I think ultimately that they did what they could there. I think Zeal White played the composition they had well, but at the end of the day, that's really just the Nemesis show in top lane on Trundle, just single-handedly taking the base from all of Zeal White.
My question for you, Llama, because we did Zero White played their composition actually pretty well. I think what got away from them though was Squinkle. I mean, as much as he got himself ahead and he was punishing the bot lane of TDR, I think maybe once you noticed that Trundle was getting a bit too big, you should try and go punish him instead of trying to play for your Ashe. Ashe is not really a carry a champion, not champion, but carry ADC. She's more of a utility facilitator, as we saw. So I wonder if they let the Trundle just get away too fast and too quickly, and they kind of left Set to die.
Yeah. And it did feel like kind of a top canyon for that. So, I'll like to see what they do going into game two. Maybe shake up the Lilia for something else. They seem to execute the draft well, but it didn't make the difference that we were hoping that it would. So I'll like to see what draft adaptations come up in game two.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, like it was definitely a hell of a game, but and I wonder, Llama here, if we see Zio White maybe look for a different bot lane pick, maybe. Because I've said it a few times now. For those who have caught my streams, I haven't seen Ash win a single amateur game yet.
You
I'm
gotta
not, and the
think
pick isn't
that,
bad. She has been buffed a couple times now. I think now, maybe in the last two patches, I would say, but she still hasn't won an amateur game just yet. So,
it did feel
you
like she was
know,
effective. She had some great
she
intended
was,
crystal
she
arrows on
was,
mid game.
yeah.
She got backline access for the Vex, it felt like, in some of those fights. But as you're
Mhm.
saying, an Ashe versus a Fed Trundle, like, it doesn't matter if you're 7 items. Like,
And,
Ashe will not be winning that 1v1.
Ash versus a poking Kaisa. We're not gonna count Lucian this game. In terms like of the champion, not the player, because Lucian didn't really do much. But the poking Kaisa, the Kindred, and the Trundle. Like, what are you gonna
And
do?
Braum can just stand in front.
Yeah,
Say, all right, stand behind Braum, like, let me just stand in front of y'all.
stand
Let you do all
behind,
the
bro.
damage. Yeah.
Definitely, indeed. But we're gonna take a short break here as Zio White and TDR prepare for game two, and as we also prepare for game two. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in just a bit here. Welcome back, everyone, as we prepare ourselves for game number 2 of Team Death Realm versus Zeal White, and we have ourselves a swide, a side swap, as TDR are now on the blue side and Zeal White are now on red. So Llama, just some quick points here. What do we want to see from Zeal White going into game 2 as they are now on red side?
Well, Zeal White is a team that's dropped some game ones here, and so we've seen this before. So I think, coming out of game one, I think what we need to see is, just mentally, Zeal White
Mhm.
saying, hey, we're not out of the series yet. This is still a series for them to win. I think they put up some good numbers. I think their composition ultimately felt okay. I think
Mhm.
the big issue for Zeal White was really just the fact that, Nemesis got too far ahead in the top lane. Squinko had a great performance on the Lilia there. Even
Yeah.
Iwin felt like he played really well. The only kind of weak point there that I really noticed was the topside matchup with Dark. So, going into this next game, I want to still see this mid jungle duo for Zeal be very aggressive and play that kind of style, try to get those early leads. And we need to see someone like Dark just be able to maybe step back off the gas a little bit, maybe play a matchup that he can just scale and farm a little harder. Set from behind is so hard to make anything happen. So, it'll be interesting to see how they want to adapt draft as well as maybe a play style as well to try to really limit the impact that Nemesis has in this next game.
And limit the impact and adapt draft indeed, as we are now into picks and bans here of game 2, and we see a Camille ban coming out from TDR already, and Zeal. Oh wait, oh yeah, okay, no, sorry, they were just talking about in chat. And Jinx is banned on Zeal. For Zeal, and we have the Samira ban for TDR as well. I want to see, did they ban Camille? Oh, they did ban
They
Camille as
did
well
ban
last
Camille
game.
one,
Okay,
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and
So
and
so
TDR
far the
is
same
saying
two
we're gonna
bans.
stick with the same kind of bans. They banned
Mhm.
Camille, Samir, and then Zeri game three. I'm expecting that I want to see Zeal have. I think they have to swap out one of these bans for the Trundle here.
Really?
Otherwise,
You think so?
I think they got to either have an answer for it by picking it early, or they have to drop a ban into it because beyond that, with seeing Jinx and Zeri ban, it's honestly given TDR a free ban as well because they said, hey, we don't want to give it to Blue Side for game one, but I think Azil, I think that's honestly a misban. You have to ban Zeri 3 instead because you just gave TDR a free ban when they banned Zeri game 3. So
They
now Azil's
banned
saying we're going
Jin.
to swap this up.
TDR banned Jin. Why
You
did they
know,
ban Jin? They banned. Oh well, because the Zeri was banned this time. Oh wow, so they're
yeah.
really attacking the ADC pool here. As
I think
Yumi.
Zeal saves the Zeri ban for 3 here. And the Yumi is something that we've
Nope,
seen played,
it's the
but
Kai'Sa ban.
it's
They
the
already banned
Kaisa.
Zeri on two. Yeah.
Matt was able, as I talked about in that last game, Matt kind of zoned off the entire team, landing just a few of those. He landed some of those W's and kind of zoned the entire fight off from it.
And we have four ADC, or not four, sorry, five ADC bans, by the way, as Nautilus is picked first for TDR here. So I wonder how Zeal will respond.
And we
As
saw in
Nautilus
game
is
one,
definitely a high priority pick. Like I
it
feel like for
was.
for supports, like he's such a good pick right now. It's nuts actually. I kind
And
of
seeing
banned him
Hecarim
myself when I
fall off
played.
in 12-6 for the competitive pool, it really meant that, hey, there's
Oh,
the
they picked
Ash.
the Ash again. Oh, okay. Oh, they're doubling down on the CC comp though.
They say, hey, you want to pick a champion with 4 CCs? We'll pick 2 champions with 8. That's what's kind of happening here, it feels like. This is, you're expecting to see an 80 carry matched here now by TDR, as well as it gives them an option if they want to play something like a mid laner, if they want to pick a flex on 3. I'm kind of expecting to see an ADC match, but who's left in the pool?
Oh, there's still plenty of ADs left. We got Zaya, we got Ezreal. Ezreal's good, Zaya's good. Aphelios, like we said, but we don't see a lot of these amateur plat teams play them or play him. I mean, oh, Sip.
Now, that wasn't
Oh,
one
we
on the
got
docket
Sipper. Let's
before. That was not
go.
one that was mentioned, but man, Team Death
Okay,
Realm, this is
Rusher on the Sipper here.
This is Rusher's first Sivir play in this match. Remember, if TDR wins this, like that really pushes them ahead here. They're almost at the point of like they have to prove that they are a top team. And seeing a Sivir pick after up 1-0, maybe it's an ego, maybe it's a new pick, but I feel like I don't know what TDR is doing with this draft.
I mean, The way I see it is Sivir, you need someone that can. I mean, besides Ezreal probably being picked as well, you need someone that can. I don't want to
Ooh.
say match. Ooh, Zeal. Zeal.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, this draft is going way too quick for me. So, basically, you want someone to match the Ashe in lane and also spell shield her. Oh, well, at least one of the ultimates, right? Because
Yeah.
you can't spell shield everything. um,
You know,
but we have the Kindred band coming out from Zeal White as well here, as we are awaiting TDR's next ban. So, okay, so we're like kind of just banning things that we saw in game one, but
I
now that leaves open a lot of things that were not banned from game one as well. And actually, Zeal already have their top lane pick, unless that Kale's going mid. I mean, Nemesis does it, like,
yeah,
ex Fnatic play
I'm expecting to see
Nemesis,
Kale
not
top,
this
but the thing
Nemesis.
is, Kale into Shen really negates a lot of the ability that Kale has with the auto attacks. Like, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a great matchup, and it can't match as well as Shen. Maybe it's something that they could look at mid, but what I'm seeing for Team Death Realm is something like a Nocturne jungle, something that also wants to go in. Zeal White is going to pick up a fourth champ here. I'm expecting to see it as a jungler. You know, you
TDR
kind of
banned the
want it as a
Trundle
counter pick.
themselves. Actually, did you see that?
Oh, TDR banned that. Really? They say, okay. You
Yeah.
know, that was something that matched both pools for jungle and for top. So it looked like something that was a high contested, and neither team wants to say they want it. But what does that
Mhm.
leave Zeal to here on a fourth pick? I'm expecting to see a jungler, but Sejuani?
So that means if we see jungle here from Zeal next, that means they're definitely saving counter pick for. Nope, we're saving counter pick for jungle.
Yeah, they're going to save it. They're going to lock in the Rise. And, you know, as a short range battle mage into something like Sivir Nautilus, it doesn't feel like it's a super high value champ. You've also just picked, you know, your mid and your ADC with not a whole lot of damage if we're going that tanky Rise build. So
Mhm.
you're saying we're going to scale to 16 for Kale. If Zeal does not hit level 16, their damage is incredibly low.
Which also means the fact that means for sure we do not want to see Zeal try and fight early this game. As we see the Sedge and Yoni locked in. I love TDR's comp. Oh my god. And I love it because they already had two melee champs and then they picked Sedge, but then they also backed it up with the Yoni. So this E proc is gonna be like on fire.
You know, it is so
Oh,
much
don't pick
crowd
Udyr. Do not
control, a
pick
lot
Udyr.
of
Do not
utility.
pick Udyr here. Do not pick the Udyr.
What
Thank
is
you.
Zeal saving fifth pick jungle for here? Like, what priority are you getting by seeing the Sejuani? After the Trundle gets banned away, they know that
Vi?
TDR likes to play that. Now you're going to lock in a Vi?
Hacker room was open. Hacker room was
Yeah.
open. I don't
Honestly,
know if
even with
Vi
the
is a good
nerfed
idea.
Hecarim, I think it's still okay. I feel like Vi is not providing a lot of value into the Zeal comp, especially as a fifth pick. You know, you're not
Yeah.
picking Vi for anything you saw 4 or 5. You didn't show a flex.
Well,
Ugh.
so where's the damage coming from Zeal here? I mean, obviously we know it's coming from Rise and Kale at 16, but how do they get through early and mid game?
I mean,
Because
it feels like they can't. I think Kale's gonna have a really hard time top lane, even with a matchup that feels like Shen's gonna play more utility. You know, the jungle matchup, Sejuani's not gonna die to Vi early. And then mid lane, you have a Yone versus Rise, and Rise is gonna lose that matchup until he gets to a second item.
yeah, absolutely indeed. Because yeah, I'm actually, you know what? I This Vi could go lethality. I highly doubt it though. But we have seen the Eclipse Vi pick, so that is the glass cannon pick. But I do probably expect to see this Vi go probably more of the Divine Sunderer build here, just
Yeah.
for a bit more survivability and whatnot. But I mean, wait. Also, well, you know what? I just realized TDR is a full AD comp. I mean, there's a little bit of AP, but like no one really counts that, right? Because it's either tanks or damage on their composition. So
Yeah.
Rise will probably be okay since this is the tank Rise build.
I mean, that's what
Um,
I'm expecting to see. I don't think he can. Maybe he goes something more AP heavy just because of the damage needed. But yeah,
no, I think he should still go tank because you're gonna need that armor anyway. So like the Frozen Heart will be
yep,
good. Even
high
maybe
value.
consider a Winter as well because that
Yeah.
scales off your mana and gives you health, and I think a little bit of armor, or is it just health? I can't remember exactly.
On
I
the
have to look up
Fimbulwinter,
that.
the Fimbulwinter gives some
Yeah,
health as well. Yep.
yeah, health off mana, I believe.
Yep.
I don't know about armor. I have to look up the components just to be sure because I don't really
Yeah, but
play
you can
or
definitely
build
go
that item.
into. It's high value to pick up a Frozen Heart here for sure for
Yeah.
Rise. Um, Honestly, looking at their composition, I feel like Vi as a damage threat, what you're saying, I think she kind of needs to be, whether it's Divine Sunderer or Lethality
Hmm.
build, you're saying
Hmm.
we're picking a jungler with damage. And who are you doing damage to that's going to win this game? I guess, like, you try to kill Yone, but you have 3 tank CC boys with the Shen, the Sejuani, and the Nautilus that are just
And
going to
they set up the
absolutely
Yone
stiff
ult
on them.
so well.
Yeah, like, what are they going to do here? It just feels like Zeal is in a place where they need level 16 Kale, they need Rise to be at least level 13, and then they need to be able to pick a Yone to win a team fight. But the amount of utility that it looks like the team has, and Zeal can't really 100-0 anyone through the Ash Arrow, through the Vial.
You still have Sivir, and we totally forgot about the Sivir at this point, because you still have the Sivir throwing boomerangs and just hawking you down.
Yeah. And granted,
So,
Sivir's not a super high damage marksman in these team fights. Like, when we look at some of these other options, like a Vayne, a Tristana, even something like AoE, like a Misfortune.
she may not be high damage, but I mean, we do expect this Sivir to be lethality. And honestly, besides the Leona, the Rise, and the Vi, they're not really. Even those champions are not really tanky. So if Sivir gets a few boomerangs off, they're all dying.
That's true, but I'm honestly not expecting to see the lethal. I mean, maybe that's just a misread for me, but I'm not expecting to see lethality on the Sivir. Honestly, I feel like
really?
it's not. I don't think it's that strong right now. I feel like, it's sort of like, it feels like almost like a worse Kaisa almost. Where it feels like, maybe he's trying to play for some poke, but like, as I'm looking at Rusher's OPGG, I'm not seeing Sivir in his champ pool at all.
Well, I know,
So
like, based off, just general builds, I believe Sivir has been the lethality build for a while now. So I'm not saying she can't build like the Kraken or the Gale Force or whatever. I'm just saying
yeah,
that's like been her common build path right
it
now.
is,
So if it's
Duskblade
not,
is the most picked up mythic. That is true.
yeah. So
The
I'm saying like
Duskblade Manamune.
if you don't see that being the option, what do you suggest this Sivir
I could
build?
see something like the Gale Force Essence Reaver as really the opportunity to be able to play in these fights, have a little bit more mobility, give
That's
you some
true.
more DPS out potential. However, it is something that's a little bit less common, but Sivir's not really a meta champ that we're talking about very much.
Exactly. Definitely not really a meta champ indeed, as once again the Ezreal was still there. I don't know if Russia plays it, but Ezreal was open, Zaya was open, as we've seen her definitely rise in priority as well. And
And
Vayne was
Ezreal's most played for
open,
Rusher as well.
Trade.
It feels like it would have been a good pick for them, and
So what we're probably seeing maybe is this is just all, estimation, speculation. Is this could probably be somewhat, I don't want to call it a for fun game. This could be an experimental game for TDR, where if they lose it, they're like, okay, fine, Sivir was not a good pick here. Maybe we should have went with the Ezreal or something. But if they win it, they're like, oh, cool, we won, and now we
yeah.
2-0 Zeal White. But if they lose it, they're like, okay, we still have one more game, and we have some leeway. So
I'm hearing that. And I think that's maybe the case. Maybe they're just picking something that sounds interesting. But I'm seeing the issue for TDR here going into this game that Death Realm's not going to have enough damage. They're going to have a lot of CC, a lot of utility. But, their damage is really coming from Yone and Sivir. So I'm going to be looking in these fights to see, are they able to get the damage down in these fights? Or is it just going to be a lot of CC and then like Rise and Leona can, not die to it. And then Ashe and Kale can hit from the backline. So we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen in these team fights for Team Death Realm.
yeah, waiting to see indeed. And before we cut to our short break here, Llama, I want to ask you, do you want to change your prediction after we saw game one?
I gave a 2-1 to Team Death Realm. I do think, my prediction would be that if Zeal White, if they can hit level 16 on Kale, this game is won for them. If this game has more than a 5k gold deficit by 20 minutes, I think it's over. And I think Team Death Realm gets the 2-0. But if they can stall it out, if Dark can play more passive, I think they still have a chance.
So okay, so you're keeping your prediction then.
I'm gonna hold the 2-1.
With certain limitations and whatnot.
Yep. I'm holding the 2-1 unless there's a big gold lead and Kale can't hit 16, and then it's over.
Alrighty. Well then, we will have to see if that rings true as we prepare ourselves for game two. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, as we are getting ready for Game 2 of Team Death Realm versus Zeal White. And, I mean, as expected, you have a Nautilus, a Sedge, and a Shen. Why not 5-man it top somewhere to maybe, put Dark behind just a little bit more and to make his Rift experience just that a bit more hellish.
And I'm liking this level 1 from Team Death Realm.
He definitely sussed it out.
It got spotted out, but Team Death Realm has not run into anybody yet. They just saw Squinko now.
And will this be a full-on invade or just vision?
They're going for vision, and I'm expecting them to run after, but okay. Good to kind of sniff that out. Nice on Dark to not be getting behind early. That could have been a major issue.
Oh my god, yeah, if Kale had died there,
that would have been maybe just a go next angle.
Yeah, like, you're just not gonna have a fun time.
So what I want to see early game, from the side of Zeal to, bring this in is like, you got to be playing a little bit more patient. I think they need to get these big spikes for Kale and Rise and play around ganks from Squinko. He showed that he can get advantages, he didn't do too much with them, but I think Squinko's a really smart jungler from what I saw from game 1, and I want to see him continue to make these proactive plays around the map.
Yeah, definitely indeed. So my question for you as well, Llama, since you are a jungle aficionado, is for the side of Zeal White here, because once again, they are the team that is down the game, so they really want to win this. Squinko, once again, we saw him really prioritize bot lane and whatnot. What lane does he want to prioritize this game? Or how does he really want to play this game? Because once again, like we said, Zeal White, their whole prerogative is to get to late game, is KO 16, right? So what is the best way to ensure they make it there? But hold that thought, as we're gonna have ourselves a little fight here, and Yahavi is just blown up by Mr. Potato and Rusher, and I think that kill will go over to Rusher as well, and he gets a double 2 minutes into the game. So
so maybe that changes my where do you play as Squinko here, because right after that, I think you need to say, like, they just used 3 of their 4 summoners down. Both Mr. Potato and Rusher both still have their flash up, so it's only a secondaries burn for them, meaning like Leona is very, very susceptible to ganks now, and I think that we're gonna see something happen topside, but looks like it's gonna be an aggressive trade from Nemesis.
Yeah, just a trade. They're fine.
Some damage. That was a good trade back there from Dark. It was great to see some of that happening. But I think we need to see Squinko playing around bot side here. Sejuani with her passive synergizes incredibly well with other melee champions, and so I'm going to expect to see Sejuani playing around top side. That's going to be the mid and the top lane. And so I think Squinko needs to decide, am I going to try to match this? But the 2v2s look losing if we're talking about Vi and Rise or Vi and Kale. Like, those look losing 2v2s as we look at Sejuani and Shen or Sejuani and Yone. So I think we need to see Squinko playing around the bot side, try to get pressure to happen 3v2, but after the early deficit now, it's a pickaxe to a longsword, and plus you see the extra Dorans, that this is already an incredibly lost position now for the side of Zeal White, where they need to make something happen. And
speaking of lost position, Nemesis and in Vayne here getting the engage onto Dark, and his life will be secured. As I just realized, Nemesis took Ignite here, so we didn't even talk about summoners or runes, but Nemesis took Ignite. He does not have TP, so he only has his ultimate there to get him around this map as quickly as possible. So
and while we were
is that greedy? Is that greedy? Is that greedy?
It is greedy. I think it's saying, hey, I can beat you in the 1v1, and if you're going to go TP because you need to, because I'm Shen, I just get the early aggressive, the extra summoner spell early. And we saw it made a difference in that topside play, that forced a teleport out of Dark. So now the Ignite's going to be up way before teleport, and it gives another aggressive angle. It might be a little bit greedy, but I think it's Nemesis saying, I'll beat you in the 1v1 early, and I still have my way to join the fight with, my Stand United. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely indeed. It's Mr. Potato securing another hook onto Yahabi there, using the flash. He will have to get out of dodge as quickly as possible. The Ignite did burn him down quite a bit, but he has some potion to heal back up. But this Ashe pick is just really not showing its best capabilities, as now TDR threatening a dive.
You know,
And
with Squinko
Zero
back on
White
the
gonna-
top side for his
yeah.
second rotation here, it means that Yahabi and Zylandes do not have support from their jungler, so they have to play so respectful. This entire wave dies to the tower, and even though it's only a one-wave lead right now for the side of Rusher and TDR, it's still at a point where it gives them jungle priority now. You know, Vi is on the opposite side of the map, and it feels like all of a sudden this side that I felt like we needed to see Vi playing around is just kind of going by the wayside.
Definitely by the wayside indeed, as we see Vi in the blue jungle invading. They're getting the Gromp and whatnot, but the Sejuani in Bane already working on that Inferno Drake here. And Llama, you did mention before, while we have some downtime, as we see them securing the Inferno Drake, that what were some implications, I believe, for TDR if they get this 2-0?
You know, well, I mean, it is funny that both these teams are coming into this match with substitute junglers. So this is a team that we might not even see, but both these teams are sitting at a standing of 3 and 4 for their match games. So even though Zeal White is 7 and 9 in their game score, and Team Death Realm was 9 and 8, well now 10 and 8 after last game, both are sitting at 3 and 4. So for Team Death Realm, there's a little bit more stakes, but you know, they seem to be playing with everything they got here. Man, looks like nothing too much happening there. But yeah, so if Team Death Realm beats Zeal tonight, it's likely going to be enough to get them over the line into playoffs. But you know, if they lose and they get reverse swept by Zeal White, they would kind of need to be in a make or break situation next week as well. So, you know, this can probably be enough to squeeze them in. It doesn't sound like anything's guaranteed yet, but you know, Zeal White's much more playing for their
oh boy, as Matt gets the fate sealed, and Squinko's fate will be sealed, and his life claims.
Man, what a great invade there from Matt and Invane there onto Squinko in that topside jungle. It felt like they did just a really good job at reading that play, picking up. That was that second rotation topside as well, looked like, right? And now, you know, we're at a point where, what does Squinko do now? You know, it looks like Vin Vang can just sit on the top side of the map here. He's been incredibly patient with these wave pushes from Nemesis. And we saw on the top side in the Tri-Bush earlier, and now after here, when this wave comes in, you know, we're not quite level 6 on Sejuani yet, but it doesn't look like he will go for a dive angle, but I thought there might have been something to look for, but looks like Ping's going on the Herald instead.
Yeah, I mean, I know Kale right now, Dark, is just like, guys, please, I'm only level 7, like, I need more time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
but the map around him's kind of melting. Those early 2 kills, I mean, they've done a good job to stop the bleeding from Zeal White here. And now Squinko's looking for a play bot side while the Herald's going to take on the other side. There's the engage.
Mr. Brate getting the hook onto Zylandes here as Zylandes flashes forward, and Squinko using the ultimate to try and secure the kill onto Rusher as they left Yahabi alone to deal with the Nautilus, who will be taken out as Nemesis using the Stand United to back up his bot laner here, but now they're running the Shen down. Will he be able to get out as Yahabi using the volley there to slow down the Shen? Squinko loading up the Q there, and he misses, and Rusher gets his life. Oh, Rusher gets the double kill as well. Will it be a triple? Zylandes is running away. Rusher, as his name implies, rushing forward onto this Leona here. One more auto. Triple kill for the Sivir here, as Invane and Dark are now battling out on the top side. Fate Seal goes wide for Matt, and Win will be able to live just a little bit longer. So the bot lane of TDR here getting themselves 3 kills. In addition to the 2 as well, or 1, I'm sorry, for Zeal White there. And Llama. What? Never mind. Never mind. It's not over. Now it's over. So Llama, what just happened? We can talk about.
Oh my gosh, so many things just happened all across the map there. It felt like Zeal White was trying to be aggressive on the bot side to make a play, but they are not getting the foot off the gas, even after some losses there. It looks like they're not able to pick anything up in that side of the play, but you know, Squinko had the early aggressive play, but I don't think they respected the Stand United from Shen to come in to turn that fight into 3v3. It looked okay still from Zeal White after the original part of that fight, but ultimately, Sivir did a great job kiting out, was already ahead in that excursion, and now this looks like it's going to be really bad.
Oh no, Yahabi, as you get blown up by Rusher and Mr. Potate here. Xylandis looks to be next on the menu, but that silver damage is not enough yet. And you know, Llama, you were right. He went Gale Force.
You know, and
So
I'm
not the lethality
expecting to see these tier 2 boots being Berserker Greaves. Oh, looks like a fight on mid. It looks like maybe
That and
hope.
win.
Okay. You know, it was one of those plays bot where, you know, I think when he's so far ahead, I think just there's some extra aggression coming in. But oh,
Air goes wide. Yeah.
You know, and I do want to comment on Dark. You know, I think he did a great job capitalizing on the Stand United from Shen in that play. Was able to shove it in. It gave so much space to breathe because Nemesis had to spend so much time there. Doesn't have the teleport to get back up to the top lane. It gave Dark a CS advantage. If we're looking at gold, it gave him a gold advantage. And now in the lane that we were talking about that he was playing on the back foot, already got dive early, he was really able to recover that. So even though it looked terrible in the bot lane, and I'm not trying to say it's worth it, I don't think it was for Zeal White, but it gave Dark a lot of breathing room.
Oh, a lot of breathing room indeed as Squinkle using the ultimate there. Cease and desist onto Matt. Facial Prison goes wide, but Xylandis is still out of position. Oh, as the hook goes wide as well, but this Leona still unable to escape, and the support of Zeal White will be claimed as tribute. And now they want more gold as Rift Herald is being launched onto this tier 1 turret.
And I was saying, what was my prediction? 5K at 20 minutes? Well, right now I am seeing almost 7,000 at 12. So plates have not even fallen, and as we look across the map, 4 plates gone in mid, 5 plates gone in bottom for the side of TDR. And Team Death Realm has just exploded this game, and they're not looking to stop yet.
Exploded this game indeed as we see Matt and Mr. Potate here. Oh my goodness, I thought he was gonna die, but the Stand United comes in to save the unit, but the Ignite and the auto from Ash takes him out. Double kill from Yahabi as the set is not, Shen is now being ran down here. Xylandis will give his life over to ensure his AD carry gets a triple kill, and this Ash now has some gold in her pocket.
You know, and it's great to see that that triple kill does all go the way of Yahabe, because it gave the opportunity for some of this influx to even out a little bit. It's not even yet. It's still over 2,000 gold lead for Rusher in this matchup, but you know, at least it accelerates to a mythic. It gives tier 2 boots as well, and now instead of being an item behind, now it's only about, you know, half an item. So maybe that's a consolation, and I think just Team Death Realm got a little bit too over aggressive. They hadn't spent their gold yet. They weren't really in this position to fight, and it kind of felt like they kind of had to just put something together. But the top side, you know, Death Realm is not being, you know, stopped by some of this. They want to get these other plates before 14 minutes, because that's another 160 gold, even if they just get the one. And all of Team Death Realm starting to collapse on the top side. Sejuani's out of base, and maybe they're going to try to control this top side of the quadrant of the jungle with 3 minutes till the dragon spawn. They got some time to play around top, it looks like.
Definitely some time to play around top indeed, as Dark is now level 10, so 6 more levels to go. Oh no, that is one of the worst feelings as a top laner. When you teleport top and there's already a gank waiting for you.
And arrow though.
It hits, but there's no one to clean that up, and Mr. Potate's probably gonna walk out. And I know Dark is just I know he feels so bad right now.
You know, and I don't know what happened with the communication there from the side of Zeal White. It felt like at 14 minutes into the game, that's not a tower you want to be playing towards right now. For some reason, Ryze went to the bot lane. I think Ash might have been in mid, but they need to, if that's going to be a TP, you need to be looking to catch that wave and get you out of that lane. But, you know, Team Death Realm was already there to match. Nautilus has been hanging around. I don't think Zeal White respected that they could just collapse there, maybe Dark in particular.
Oh, Glacial Prison goes wide once again as Squinkle using the Cease and Desist to try and keep this Yone in place. Xylandis using the ultimate there, but now Yahabi and the Leona here are trying to fight back, but instead they just get blown up from the side of TDR, and this game is getting out of hand. Objective bounties are now on the board here for Zeal White as well.
Yeah, oh my god, out of hand indeed. It looked like that was just a fight that looked okay. Yahavi did pick up one, but, you know, lost an inner tower. It looks like they were trying to force Zylandis use the flash aggressively there without really having a great target to lock down. And it feels like Zeal White's a little bit desperate to try to get back into this game. But again, they don't get back in this game by keep forcing. They get back in this game from a level 16 KO. They need to cut their losses, take these waves at inner towers, and then play for the 16, play for the scale. If Zeal White keeps trying to make aggressive plays like this, they won't make it to level 11 on KL, you know? I mean, it feels like this game is so out of reach. They need to take the foot off the gas, catch side lanes, give a couple of dragons, maybe play for Soul, but that's only 6 minutes away if Team Death Realm takes this next one.
Yeah, definitely get the brick off the accelerator here. I don't know why you had it on in the first place, as your composition is not meant to fight early.
It's not.
I don't think Zeal White got that memo, and now Nemesis, or I'm sorry, not Nemesis, but Dark here is in trouble. But there's a teleport coming out from Win, and I think this. Oh, nope, never mind. As the Stand United and Rusher are here, Kale's going to be taken out, and Win is just going to have to walk away with a loss.
You know, so if I am Zeal White right now, you need to be moving down to the dragon. You have to say this top side.
Oh, Glacial Prison hits, and the Ash's fate is sealed. My goodness, TDR.
So this is terrible from Squinko here. You know, this is where Zeal White needs to say, let's make something cross map. Give the top. Give the inhib even. It's 17 minutes in the game. Let them push this all the way down. Take the dragon. That gives you an extra 10 minutes. If they lose this dragon, they have 5. They need to buy time. The best way to do that at this point in the game is send Squinko to take the dragon, try to make something happen across the map. You're never going to hold, and having 5 people top, don't force right now. Give the tower, give the inhib. And now they don't get first rotation of dragon. They have 5 on top sides for no extra play, and it feels like this game is gone, and there's a 10,000 gold deficit at 17 minutes.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. 10k gold lead at 17 indeed. As we see, and look at where the gold is mainly for the side of TDR here. It's on the Sivir, on the Yone, as expected. And even Nautilus even has a gold bounty. That's ridiculous. Nautilus is 3-2-9.
Yeah, and this is the point where these teams fall apart. I think with a little bit better macro, honestly, you can at least stop that third dragon from happening. If we look at what Squinko did in the top side during that play, he sat in top side, he took a camp, he sat in a bush, and then he disengaged the tower. He provided nothing to that team there. Him even being in the area actually didn't even deter the enemy team from making that happen. Maybe this Enchanting Crystal Arrow can get something. And
it did hit Mr. Potato though. Win is here. The hook only lands just a short stop as Mr. Potato is he's just going to be given over, and the kill is given over to Yahabi.
Oh. I thought Squinko was going to try to get too aggressive there, but...
but Win is a little bit out of position, though. Matt is looking for it. He gets the knockup. Yahabi is trying to back up his mid laner here. Glacial Prison does hit the Ash, and Yahabi is now fighting for his life as the Fate Seal comes in the way and is just in the middle of the entire Zeal White squad. And they're not done. His Nemesis is here to back up his mid laner. Sejuani is still alive as those E's are being procced. Rusher is now here to clean up the rest of Zeal White. And that will be 4 for 1 on the side of TDR as they now look to claim this tier 2 turret.
You know, and I gotta say, Rusher was not there for most of that fight. He came in for the cleanup. That janitor came to sweep in all those kills at the very end of that fight there. But that was a fight that Team Death Realm was playing from behind with gold, and they still won it. That feels like the point where Rusher wasn't even there, and it felt like it might have been okay. Target selection wasn't great from Zeal White, but Team Death Realm did not care. They were able to bring the Stand United in, have Shen there, Sejuani was there, and Rusher didn't even need to be at the fight.
Definitely not right. They didn't even need Rusher. I mean, once again, Matt is so strong right now, and he's only on 1 full item boots, and you know, I don't even know what he's building here next. I mean, we see the Zeal, we see parts of an IE, I believe. Yeah, that's got to be the build path towards IE, right?
Crit early. I'm kind of expecting at this point he's going to be finishing down.
Oh, Chelsea will not like that, because I'm pretty sure his crit is not over 60% yet. Chelsea's going to be molding if she's watching this.
I do want to take a look here. You know.
Yeah, his crit is. Oh wait, hold on. What's his crit at?
His crit right now is at 100% now.
Oh, it is at 100. Okay, never mind.
But this is the guy that he just had the Zeal looks like for early. And now he was able to finish the IE, has the extra zeal on top. So,
He
man,
didn't sin.
Yone's
Matt did not sin.
gratefully he was not a sinner. And at this point, this is really hard because Zeal White, they seem to be still posturing around the objective that they know Team Death Row is going to be
Squinkle,
at,
what
and
are
they
you
can't
doing?
win it. Like, Team Squinko can maybe look for a 50 here, but what's happening is Zeal White is still moving through the space where Team Death Realm is going to win every fight.
Mm-hmm.
Zeal White has to recognize this and play on the opposite side of the map. That's what he should.
And they also need to try and play when the Shen ult is down.
They have to play two Shen. Like, send 4 people down, kill Shen, keep Squinko up to the 50. But it's like, this is so hard now because they can just walk in, take the Baron in front of their face. It doesn't matter if they can get people here. Iwin's not going to win.
As TDR said, screw the Baron, we want the fight, as the Xylandis will be the first victim on the side of Zeal White that's taken out. Dark is taken out next. Yahavi was just an Ash out of position, and he's claimed next. Squinko getting ran down by the Nautilus, and honestly, if this Nautilus doesn't solo kill this Vi here, I don't know what else you can say, but yeah, that's not gonna happen, as his team is here to back him up, and Rise was just in the side lane ensuring Shen doesn't push down their inhibitor. At this point, maybe you do give over the inhibitor so that we can get more gold, because TDR is getting the Baron.
They sure are, and that was a fight where I don't think Iwin teleporting into it makes a difference there. I guess he stopped Nemesis from at least joining the fight, but still got the shield on the Rusher, and gotta say from that replay fight that there was a great spell shield for Sivir to stop the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Without that, Yahavi might have picked up an extra kill. And now, unfortunately, like we talked about with that timer, this is that timer at 22.5 minutes that Team Death Realm is going to pick up the soul, and Zeal White has to say we can't play it. Ults are going to be coming back up by the time that's up, with the exception of looks like maybe Yone. But are they going to throw the game right here?
I wanted to point out that Dark's growth has also been very stagnant. I mean, he's only level 12 and it's 22 minutes. I swear he was level 10 like 10 minutes ago. So
absolutely,
they've really been punishing the kill as well. And
Death Realm can force on anything, and they are.
As Win and Xylandis look to get punished here next, as the Fate Seal does connect onto the Rise there. Xylandis now having to run for his life, as Squinko also running away as well. Glacial Prison, I'm not sure if it hit, but Squinko will be the next kill to be given over to TDR, as Yahavi and Dark are just, well, the Ashe is mid, and the Kale is 5.
And they have a wave, and
they do have a wave.
And the
Ashe is now back. They do not have a kill. They will not have an inhibitor. I don't know if they will have a Nexus by this point.
The wave is still there, and it does look like they're going to keep pushing in. Respawns are coming in, though, so they're going to have to make a last-ditch effort here.
Correct. Last-ditch effort here. Zeal White, can you hang on, as TDR are searching for the 2-0? And I guess the answer will be no, as TDR are just rampaging through the base here of Zeal White. And Game 2 will be going over to TDR. 2-0 victory.
Wow, what a win. That one felt incredibly convincing from the entire Team Death Realm squad there. It felt like across the board, from the 2 early kills onto Sivir bot at like level 2 into the top lane matchup that felt like it held its own and then was able to have huge impact. And then Invain and Matt doing their own part there in that fight. Both of them 11-2 on Matt, and then seeing 4-1-16 on Sejuani. Everyone on the team was contributing to that fight, and it just felt like Zeal White had no chance back into the game after their early deficit.
Absolutely, and honestly, I'm this was worse. This game was worse than their game 1 performance. No, really, like at least game 1, it looked like there was some cohesion and teamwork, I would say. It didn't really look like a lot of teamwork. It looked like a lot more of individuals trying to play versus a team playing together.
And maybe some of that comes down to the team composition. I think in game 1, at least Zeal White had an identity that they thought they could play through with the Vex, the Lilia, the Ashe, the Nautilus. They had single target lockdown that they could say, we're going to go, we're always going to go, and we're going to look for picks. In this comp, it kind of wants to do that still when you have these similar kind of champions with Ashe and Vi that say, we want to go, and Leona, but you're so far behind, there's no more identity. So now they say, well, do we keep trying to force? It looks like that's what they did, but
And yeah,
it wasn't getting any further.
that's exactly what they did. And I really am curious as to what their comms were like because, I mean, if you're drafting a Kale and if you're drafting a Kale, that you should know that means you really don't want to fight. Like you really want to avoid fights as much as possible or as much death as possible to ensure this Kale can be the hyper carry that leads you to salvation. But
Yeah.
that didn't happen and you kept trying to force where honestly sometimes you didn't need to. There's a thing called losing gracefully, and they didn't do that at all. And I don't mean losing the game gracefully. You could have lost lane, lost certain objectives gracefully, but to ensure that you give yourself a better chance once that opportunity arises. They did not do that at all.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I feel like they did not lose a lane gracefully. It felt like they kept trying to push tempo, which is okay to a point. You try to recover, but then there came a point where it didn't matter what objective they were going to try to set up for, what tower or what play.
Mm-hmm.
They were just
Mm-hmm.
going to be out muscled from the gold lead from Team Death Realm, and we saw that happen through especially this game where yeah, there's really no other play for them to make. It felt like, unless they were trying to do something cross map and never came to fruition. And it just kind of felt like, all right, we're going to go down fighting, I guess, but those fights felt pretty one sided.
Yeah, one-sided indeed, and it has been a pretty quick night for us. But before we, cut off the stream, we will have ourselves a little post-game interview with Mr. Patate, the support of TDR. But we will set that up here in just a bit, so don't go anywhere as we will set up that interview with Mr. Patate here. But we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It's your play-by-play caster. I was going to call myself the host, Redacted, here with Llama. And we have Mr. Patate here, the support for Team Death Realm.
Hey, kids!
How's it going, Mr. Patate? How you feeling after that 2-0 victory?
Pretty well, man. We're going from the playoff.
Woo!
That's what's happening. Right now.
Is that confirmed now after this win? Does that lock you guys in?
Dude,
We'd have to ask Mr. Mickey Mouse. I'm sure he is the mathematician who will get us those wonderful stats here in just a bit. But I'm pretty confident that y'all are in playoffs now.
Yeah, we already on playoff, by the way.
Oh,
Okay,
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, my fault. My bad.
Nice.
No disrespect. No disrespect. But Llama, if you want to go ahead and leave with the first question here for
Yeah.
Mr. Potato, go for it.
Absolutely. So, going to this match, I felt like there were some expectations. This Zeo White is a team that's also 3-4. What was some of your prep going into this match today? Were there certain compositions or champions that you felt like as a team you either wanted to look at or take away? Like, what was some of the prep going in before you played against these guys today?
Do you want a real answer?
Yes.
Is the real answer none?
But
We never practice. We never practice together, and we just start talking 10 minutes before the game starts because we play Fortnite before. So, yeah.
You know what? Did you play Fortnite together as a team?
At 4 because we only can play at 4. So I guess.
Oh, as 4. You know what? Hey, that's still practice. You practice team synergy and team communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what happened.
So
what? It did feel like the Nautilus was pretty contested. Is that a champ that you saw Zeal pick game 1 and you said, "Ooh, pick that for me game 2"?
I always play Nautilus, but they stole mine. So I just said, "Oh, picking me first, and I will show them what's happening." So see, I just 1v1 the Vi at Baron Pit. So I guess it works.
Yeah, you were 1v1ing the Kale too after a certain point,
Yeah.
but that was game 2. But let's go back to game 1 first. Actually, I want to talk about that just a little bit. So you all picked the Kai'Sa, Braum, Lucian, Trundle, and Kindred, and they picked Nautilus, Ashe, Vex, Lilia, and the set here. So initially, Squinko was pretty much giving y'all the business in the bot lane. Like, he was showing us why Lilia is such a great jungler for up to a certain point. Were you guys a little bit worried at first when bot lane kept getting ganked over repeatedly? Did it feel like maybe things might get out of hand after a certain point? Or did you feel like everything was okay because Nemesis after a certain point was Mr. Moneybags and was like 3k up the entire time?
Yeah, I think we were okay bot lane because they picked Ashe. So eventually Ashe can put a W, and after she didn't deal damage, that's the champion chart right now. And we got cleansed. So I guess we just won the bot lane easy. So that's why Lilia didn't come bot lane that much. She came mid with the Vex ultimate. That's their way to win. But we just come back the game with fights and win the game because Trundle split push all the game. And they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. And is that what you all planned as you went through draft, or is it something that kind of once again you just did on the fly?
We did on the fly because
on the fly? Okay.
10 seconds before I just said, "Oh, you can pick Trundle and flex it." So yeah.
Yeah, I think the Trundle flex kind of caught us off guard, and you already had Lucian and Kai'Sa, which Braum synergizes really well with already. Going to that R5 pick, when did you decide that, let's send Trundle top instead and pick something else jungle? How did that kind of come up? Or like, when did you decide, this is a good idea here, let's pick more ADCs for Braum?
Because our jungle told after he don't want to play Trundle, so we put Trundle top instead. And
it's like jungle said I don't want it, so it's like pick me something else instead.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's happening.
Wait. What if like jungle? What if Nemesis didn't want to play Trundle either?
No. Nemesis played Trundle because I play solo with Nemesis and he picked Trundle. It's fine with
it. Okay.
So he's like, all right, I'll take it here.
That would have been funny if he was like, well, I don't want to play Trundle either, and then you guys are just stuck with this Trundle that nobody wants.
I can play him support. Yeah.
You already picked Braum.
Yeah, but I don't mind. He can be Braum top with Titanic Hydra and all this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness. That is funny indeed. So my next question for you all here is, that's all I got pretty much for game 1 because Nemesis and like Nemesis, it was the Nemesis show basically. So for game 2 here, you picked the Nautilus. Why the Sivir? Actually, yeah, let's go with that. Why the Sivir? We were so confused. Me and Llama were very confused about that pick.
Because there were 5 ADC bans, so we just want to pick champions who can give movement speed. She got spell shield against Leona, so that's pretty nice in laning phase. And yeah, that's all, I guess.
It was an interesting pick. You're saying those 5 AD bands. We were looking at the AD pool and said, what are they going to here? We were thinking something like Ezreal as well. With Nautilus, it seemed like your job that game was to really just try to lock down. Like you had that play top onto Kale where you said, my team's not even here yet, but I'm going to start bashing Kale's head in.
You were bullying the Kale. It was actually, it was not fair. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, but the problem with Kiel early, if we gain Kiel early too much, we got a Shen, so we can't give a big lead to a Shen against Kiel. So I just play around mid jungle and bot lane. But we win bot lane because they start fighting us level 2.
Yeah.
But Severe put 3 Q spells in their own Ashe, so she wear midlife, but they go in. So they give us a free double kill. And after they do the same thing, so we got 4 kills and then 0. And after they try to fight and fight and fight. So we just take the lead and I just roam because I'm too tank for the game and just stomp every lane.
Sivir could just match waves. Like you don't even need to be in that lane anymore.
No. I just come bot to take kills.
Yeah.
That's my job.
So at what point did you say, because you got the early kill bot lane and it was like you were up a pickaxe for Sivir. So are you calling for your jungler at that point to say, hey, come down, like let's make sure we keep killing these guys? Or is your jungler saying I'm on my way down? What did communication look like? Or when did you decide, let's try to snowball through the Sivir here now?
Oh, we talk when we double kill the bot lane, they use all the sums. So we just call the Sedge bot lane so we can dive Ashe when she respawned, but she wasn't coming. So he was just checking bot lane 5 minutes cooldown flash for dash.
Speaking of dive, you and Rusher there dive the Kale. Like that was a 2-on-1 dive. So talk me about that dive as well, because that was kind of nuts. That you actually survived that too.
X flash, hook, ultimate, shield, survive. That's how that's happening.
Yeah,
I just told him we can do it. I'm tanky, so.
And did you have vision? Like, did you know where the rest of Zeal White was at that point? Or you said, we know we can kill Kale and let's hope no one else shows up.
We have vision of 3 other players, and I saw Lilia move on the bot side jungle, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, so you said, jungle bot, so you said, okay, we can dive.
Yeah.
And Sivir was so far accelerated there. So what did you do to kind of close out that game? I know you had a big advantage, but what was some of the decision making, or what was your team looking to do going into the later stages of the game to try to close it out there once you had the big advantage?
We tried to do Baron once, and we saw their team coming too far. And I just told them, play around Baron and just bait them and kill them, and after do Baron and win the game with it. So I guess just pushing with the Baron. We know we can kill them every engage we do after Baron, so we just play the strong side and win after Baron.
Yeah, definitely indeed. And we actually have some replays. I don't know if you're watching the stream.
I watched me dying 3 times in a row. Yeah, that's hurt my
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you about some of these replays here. Like, we see the replay here of Nemesis bullying bullying the top laner there, and like, what did Nemesis? He was having the time of his life, wasn't he? Like, I feel like you guys were just having fun in your comms.
Oh
the entire series, right?
Yeah, I'll laugh multiple times this game. I'll laugh.
Was there any point in the comms where you guys were like, okay, guys, maybe we're trolling a bit too much? Because I do think Llama they did like blow 1 or 2 fights, right? I think this jungle fight right here.
Yeah, this was one that looked a little bit spooky, I think.
This one?
Yeah. You guys blew this fight right here. So what was up with that?
Good question, actually. We just throw it up a little bit, but they were ahead, so we just play with fire. But I survive it again. See? Flash it.
And it's so funny because I feel like as a jungler, and as a support player, you guys are doing so much job trying to get vision, and you guys set up some great vision in your top side in that quadrant, that game 1, and then like Kindred and Kaisa said, "Ooh, let's move down to bot side now." And I know as a support, you're like, "I just dropped all my wards top side. I don't have anything for this." And then that was when it looks like that fight was a little bit dangerous there, but. Man, after that, it still felt like you're able to recover that game pretty easily there.
We take picks, but the huge fight of the game 1 is when Ashe ultimate Kesa and Baron pit, and I just jump into Kesa and ult 4 people there, and we just take the lead, and after we win the game after this fight because Trundle were bot side. So
Yeah. And Trundle was already in the base at that point, and it seems like you
Yeah.
were able to do a great job saying, let's try to fight them here, because you only need to stop the backs, it felt like, but you were able to also kill everybody. So, yeah, Trundle had no problem melting through these towers, and he has one of those where, all right, Trundle gap's too large, and no one's going to be able to kill him.
Yeah. But do you know, I will tell you something funny for the second game. Our top laner lags so much. This is why
Oh,
you
he was
flash.
lagging.
Yeah, this is why you flash.
Oh, that one flash play. Yeah, we
No,
didn't really get to talk
he-
about that.
Yeah, he flashed 4 times in the game for nothing because you were lagging. So I just told, do you want to reset your PC? And he said, oh no, we're chilling.
Wow. So he was. What was his ping? Did you remember? Like at least once was it like 150 or something or?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, no, that's fine. I do want to talk about, so with this win, you all are, I believe, where is your record here? Yep, you are 4-4 right now. You have a game record of 11-8. Man, CCS staff is on point with updating these stats. I love y'all. So now next week you are going against Iconic Severance, who I don't know. I believe they're probably still playing their matches right now, but they are 3-4. They are in 6th place as of current. What are your thoughts about that team next week? That is also the last match of the week. So week 9, and then this is it. So, and before playoffs, that is.
If they ban Nautilus, they got a chance. But are they doing it? I don't know, man. They need to ban a champion in our strong roster. So I just gonna tell Nautilus to not spoil our pick. But yeah, I think we're gonna win because I told before we're gonna playoff. So we need to win to go in playoff. So
correct. Yeah. Do you think you're gonna 2-0 them as well?
Oh yeah, we'll try to push our records of win game because we did 16 minutes against Green Goons, and now I hope we do 15 against them next week.
Oh my god, spicy words from the Frenchman.
Hey, by the way,
indeed.
this is my 1v1. Huh? We saw my 1v1 there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The 1v1 that you're there
let's
20
see.
seconds before anybody else. And
production, even rewinding the replay for us. We love you,
that's
production.
amazing.
Thank you.
That is the support. Like, team wasn't even on the same quadrant of the map there, and it felt like you were just able to just start smacking Gale, and it did not matter there. That was so funny to see.
Yeah,
So after this next week, you got one more week of regular season, and then we're going into playoffs. Are there any teams that you're either thinking about, for going into playoffs now? Teams you're looking going into postseason that you're either worried about or you're looking forward to facing again after the regular season?
or teams you would want to face, I would say, because we don't know about seeding just yet.
That's true. That's true. You want to rematch against anybody?
Oh,
you want to show them what you can do now.
Horizon Gaming.
Okay.
Because one player of Horizon Gaming yesterday told we're gonna lose today, so 2-1 against Zil. So if we match up them and win, that's cool.
That's good.
Okay, so Horizon Gaming, you definitely would like to have the opportunity to face again. Is there any team you want to avoid, like say Goldfish Gaming, or you're comfortable with anybody? Like anybody can get it.
Yeah, I think we can win Goldfish Gaming.
Okay.
We just need to ban ADC for the mid laner because he only plays ADC each time. So I think put an ADC one trick mid is the way to ban ADC.
Oh, okay. Some spicy words out here from Mr. Potato saying that
the truly
AD
spicy.
of Goldfish. Yeah, you called Okami a AD one trick. The guy plays Yone too. You know that, right? I think he's played Ari, and I've seen him on a few mages.
Oh, he play only Yone against us. This is the only.
But so does Matt. It looks like, right? Maybe it'll have to be a contested pick. I want to see the Yone matchup there mid.
Too bad it's not blind pick.
Well, 1v1 for the Yone. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, Llama, if you don't have any more questions, I think we can let Mr. Potato go here. So that way, I'm sure you guys are gonna go VOD review some Fortnite of your games here and prepare for your next matchup here. So, Llama, any more questions from you?
No, I think we're all good, man. Yeah, really appreciate chatting with you, dude. Yeah, au revoir, for the Frenchies out there as well. And yeah, really appreciate you coming on for the call today.
Bonjour tout le monde. That's what I said in French. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Petit, and we appreciate having you here with us tonight. GG on the win as well, and thanks for proving both of us casters wrong by securing a 2-0 victory for your squad. We wish you best luck next week against Iconic Severance
So
and the
see,
playoffs.
see you next week for reviewing the game with you again.
If you're
After
being
another
streamed,
2-0.
if you're being streamed, I'm here for it. Let's go.
All good. So see you in 7 days then.
Alrighty then. Alrighty. And I just want to say thank you to all the viewers at home for being with us tonight. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a shorter night, but I'm sure some of you are probably cool with that because that gives you time to go play some Fortnite of your own or some League of Legends or whatever your entertainment or media of choice is. Moon Knight is out, by the way, so go check that out. It's pretty good. Llama, any parting words from you?
No, yeah, appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to my own final matchup here next week against DNX. So if you're not there for that game, I don't know where you're at because these are the two top teams facing off. And man, you can hear me cast, and I'm even a better jungler. So you can keep a lookout.
Oh, you play DNX next week? Oh man,
it's going to be a banger of a series.
Oh yeah, I gotta try and catch that for sure. But with that being said, we thank you all for being here with us tonight, and we hope to see you all next week for week 9, our final week of the regular season before playoffs for the CCS. We'll see you soon.